What's up, everybody?
What's up, Duckies?
Just so that you know, we spent hours trying to work out the audio issues, so we're hoping this episode, it all wasn't for nothing, and actually it worked.
How often do you think people tune to a podcast and think, oh, they must just have stuff ready as soon as they're ready to record?
Professionals. They're called professionals. They have employees.
Yeah, but they're like, out of all the podcasts, like 10% of them are probably professionals.
Those are the 10% at least. Anyway, we got a great show for you guys this week. We're obviously going to talk about everything that transpired this past weekend. No King's Day and the parade and politics and ICE and all that other shit that we always talk about. So, without further ado, if you guys don't know what you're listening to, you are listening to Blowback Stories, a favorite 15-minute podcast.
I'm Manny Oso.
And I am Nicky Trendz. Also, for our regular viewers, you're probably guessing, oh, something's a little different. This is, we decided to switch things up.
Try something new.
Try something new. Shout out to our TikTok fam. Cat Daddy in the house.
First one to come on.
Love it. I got let's get it. There's so much we should really.
It was a very long weekend. Long, drawn out, and anticipated too. One because the president has been talking since he got up there that he wanted to do this parade. This parade is going to be an magnificent parade, and I really think that when it was announced. Obviously I'm not the only one with all this, but I think people were really like, let's make sure this is the saddest day of his presidency.
I mean,
that was a sad parade.
Don't even get me started, right? Because I don't even know where to begin. That's the fucked up part. So actually, the army does have a birthday.
Yeah, they do. This
was their big birthday. And I guess everything that Trump wanted, he did not really get because this celebration was supposed to be for the military. And I think because of the No King protests, he conceded being okay with not getting everything that he wanted because he definitely would have gotten assassinated.
If he
definitely, if he would have gotten everything that he wanted in that parade to celebrate him for his birthday, I have no doubt in my mind he would have gotten assassinated.
The people would have revolted at that point.
Oh, well, they were already revolted. I think he would have gotten assassinated.
Obviously, by this weekend, if you haven't seen it, the people have spoken.
Yeah.
This weekend, the people have spoken.
They indeed have spoken.
What was the most interesting thing about the whole No Kings weekend for you?
It was really beautiful if it wasn't for such a sad reason. How every city came together.
Yes.
Everyone understood the assignment. Everyone came together. Every city, I'm sure New York, LA, it was all in unison that this was happening.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. But the other part of me was like, if only all these people that were protesting were also all the people who voted, then having these protests.
It was only like 7 months ago that we asked you guys to come out.
Oh my God, it's only been 7 months?
Yeah, so it was in November. Man, it was
God, I feel like we have been doing this for years.
But imagine if we did put that much effort into November 7th, and we're supposed to go out there and put our opinion, imagine if we did make it a whole party, where everybody went, voted, and then just hung out and protested that day.
Yeah.
Imagine all of those cities coming together like that on that day. That would have been great.
That would have been great.
That would have been great.
Here we are. 2-3 more years
protesting. Hindsight over here.
3 more years of protesting. That should be fine.
I think one of the most beautiful ones was in Boston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in Boston, the No Kings Parade happened the same time as the Pride Parade. Oh. So they kind of combined together.
And Lord knows the King is not a fan of the LGBT.
Yeah.
So they had that.
That must have been the city to be in, to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there was, if I'm not mistaken, a shooting in Minnesota.
Okay, so that is weird. Yeah, they caught the guy.
Great.
So, So from what I haven't gotten all the details because there's not a whole lot of details out here. I'm sure Netflix and Hulu are working on that documentary before any details even come out. But all they're saying is that they're swearing by the book that this guy is democratic and he's like fighting for democratic ideologies on an extreme left side. But everybody's coming out saying like this guy has been a Trump supporter since the beginning.
Oh, the guy who did the shooting.
Yeah, like they're trying to really paint this into something that he's not.
I mean, okay. Let's cut to it because we're not gonna spend all day talking about this parade. This New York parade was sad. There was just nothing else about it. You told me we ruined our streets because of the tanks. There is a video going around of like silence, but just the tank squeaky.
That's gotta be the worst video out there too.
But I don't even. Do you think that's real or did someone put the sound on it?
No, that's the funniest thing.
Oh, it's real.
It's been getting talked about all.
Oh my god!
And if you haven't seen this video, you got to look it up. It's literally just a guy recording the tank coming by on the Washington streets.
Yeah,
it's quiet because nobody's there. All the bleachers in the background are completely empty, and all you hear is this tank rolling by, like squeaking every other wheel.
God.
And so everybody's like, "Our tanks squeak?" I'm sure, though. That's the funny thing. I'm sure tanks squeak in general. I'm sure all of that metal, it's just metal on metal. Yeah. It's gonna squeak. There's gonna be parts that don't have well-oiled pieces. But the fact that it got caught on a video like that.
I think usually you would hear it because of the uproar of the audience. Well, that's too, the uproar of a parade audience, but I guess not.
The funniest thing though was the military people they had carrying the drones.
Oh my god!
Flying the drones, carrying the drones, and displaying them in their hair.
Can I tell you? I saw somebody walking those robot dogs, and I was just like, those are really expensive.
Shout out to Boston Mechanics because I guess they decided to use the same dogs at the Pride Parade too.
The military robot dogs?
There were some military robot dogs at the Pride Parade that were dressed up with like rainbow flags and everything.
Wait, those things get those dogs.
Those things are only made by Boston Mechanics.
Wait, are those like the legit ones? I'm
gonna go ahead and go on a limb, and I need somebody out there to correct this. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the ones that were at the military parade were probably purchased and contracted by the military, and the ones that were at the Pride and the No Kings Parade were probably made by the people who made it.
Oh my God, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Because there's no way that they're going to charge the Pride Parade to get those. They definitely made them and don't. Now, I'm thinking to myself, the people who probably made those were at the parade.
Do you think the dogs at the military parade hate the dogs that were at the Pride Parade?
They were saying that these were the robot dogs that Pete Hedgewood didn't allow into the military. It's gotta be that though. It's gotta be like completely donated for the parade because the people who made those are scientists.
There's somebody else.
Science is not backing Trump.
The whole thing to me was these are expensive and you have them walking a fucking I don't think these were made for that. Also, I could be wrong, right? But having a parade where we're just showcasing our weapons, that how do we know that the other countries aren't looking at this and taking note and then building bigger and better?
So, and that's what they kept saying, like on the talking heads on like Fox News and stuff. They kept saying about the other military should be looking at this and be scared. I don't think they heard. I don't know. If anything, they felt bad for us.
But I don't want, why would we want them to see what we have? Oh, yeah, because you're right. They're light years ahead. Like, China is light years ahead of us.
They're
guys.
pointing a laser at each one of our heads right now.
And we don't even know it. That's how good thing.
Yeah.
Like, so why would we want to showcase what we have? What do we want to, I don't know. I'm not in the military, but I just, in my personal thoughts, it would be, we probably shouldn't be using this for a parade.
Other than for the fact that you're celebrating a birthday of the Army, somebody out there, please tell us, what is the point of having a military parade? What is the point of showcasing this stuff? Isn't it supposed to be secretive?
That's what, yes, that, I just said that.
Yeah, just what she's saying. Somebody explain that to us.
Jesus.
Explain that. Well, yeah.
I will say that the ICE raids are getting way out of hand. So apparently the Department of ICE, a cooler,
the ice cooler.
that was ago.
I just started saying that.
Yeah, they're running out of money.
Oh, really?
They're running out of money. It's I don't know how true this projection is. They think they'll run out by next month because Trump has put in this mass deportation order to like fucking take out everybody in a blue state. So I saw this funny tweet that was like, oh, so then we should just all move to red states. Is that what we should do?
Why do you say that?
Well, because if he is targeting blue states to get raided by ICE.
So if we all move to Arkansas.
Yeah, so if you all go to a red state, then it's basically hiding him.
I mean, what's funny is what you're saying right there is literally what they're afraid of. They're afraid
that we come to the red states
and we outvote them.
I mean, I didn't think of that.
I mean, it's a strategy, definitely. But then you got to live in Arkansas.
Isn't it crazy how the red states are probably like way cheaper to live in?
Yeah, but like then you gotta live there.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what is it? We would Omaha.
Yeah, like are there good Spanish places that aren't Mexican?
Not anymore.
Ooh, but
they ain't eating tacos. They eating tacos.
Well, okay, so speaking of that and how crazy it's getting, so this Brooklyn comedian, Jake Flores, he wrote a tweet a couple months ago, basically about Cinco de Mayo. This isn't a new story, but he was basically saying how there should be some type of killing system for cultural appropriation. So, like, if you're a white person and you kill one ICE agent, then you should get to wear the sombrero. If you kill 2 ICE agents, then we'll let you wear the poncho. If you kill 3 agents, then you get the mustache with the marker. So he made a joke like that, and wouldn't you know that fucking ICE kicked him out from his house and detained him?
Was he?
He was a nobody. He's so
no, but he's a citizen though, right?
Yes, he is a citizen.
Wow.
Yes, and
for making a joke,
and because I said that it was they're aggressively policing speech on social media, and they interpreted those jokes as threats.
Wow.
And let me see. It was saying cultural appropriation could help destroy ICE, because people want to do that so bad. And then there was another case, obviously he was released, but there was another case of somebody writing something on Facebook kind of along the same lines, questioning the system, and he was picked up and he was in a detention center for 5 months. He was released because the judge is like, bro, you guys got nothing. They try to give him like a trumped up gun charge. Nothing, right?
Yeah.
But in the midst of the 5 months, he lost his job. He lost his car. He lost his house. He missed the birth of his first child. I mean, obviously, he should sue.
I mean, see, that's the situation, though. There's going to be a point where they don't care if they can get the charges set up on you. If you're an American citizen and they detain you for speaking out against the government, then what's going to happen is they're just going to fucking ruin your life into the sense of, like, I may as well be in jail.
Yeah, but no, that's still, like, first of all, people in jail have rights. The way that they treat these people in detention centers, like, apparently you're not owed a phone call or anything. Like, you know how usually, well, I don't. I've never been in jail. I don't know. I don't know why I assume you did. But you usually get a phone call. Here, that's not the case. Like, you are basically just a body in a place. But the fact that this is all over social media.
Yeah.
These are jokes, these are whatever, but they are monitoring things like that. And that's very, constitutional.
Yeah, I mean, there are other places that do that, and we're supposed to be fighting against that. China does that. They monitor social media. They pick you up if you say something.
Do you think we'll get picked up for?
I mean, while you were talking about that, I was thinking in my head, like, you guys, it's a joke, but the joke is just the cover. Underneath, it's fucking true. Like, we could be sitting here waiting for something to happen to get picked up.
Yeah.
Just for saying something wrong on this podcast.
I don't think we say anything wrong.
And then I would just be like, y'all listen to it?
Yeah, right.
I'd be like, y'all.
That is our claim to fame, is talking shit about the government.
Do y'all want to play that song
For us.
Can you put that on the headline? Bubble Stories co-host gets arrested.
Wait. I gotta make sure I have the merch shirt on. I have to make sure I'm promoting. Always be promoting.
I guess.
ABP. Always be promoting.
I guess if you are a podcaster and you're not huge and you are against this government, you may as well start saying something, because if you get picked up, it's going to be on the news.
Yeah, so it should be for something good.
And I got to tell you, if I see a headline that says such and such podcaster picked up for whatever, I'm listening to that episode.
Just the episode, not the host.
I might listen to the rest of the show, but I'm definitely listening to it. You're going to get a lot of picks.
Podcaster gets arrested, you got a fan for life.
Yeah, like, that's all I'm going to say. The whole time I'm arrested, I'm just going to say, bubble bath stories. Bubble bath stories. Bubble bath stories.
It's great to see the community come together to protect the undocumented people that live in their place. I mean, like, in California especially, and in New York, watching people actively bully ICE agents.
Yes.
It gives a warm feeling, because this means that only certain hateful people are really out there. The community is not trying to get rid of these people. It's like really hateful, fear-mongering people who are trying to get these people out, and everybody else sees the bigger picture. Without immigrants, who's doing their jobs? Not only that, but you guys are fucking ripping children away from their families. You're ripping kids out of school. Like, we just saw something in our neighborhood where a junior was taken out of his high school.
Yeah.
There's just no way that we have the funding to keep this up for 3 more years. There's no way that the people who are border ICE agents want to be ICE agents. Also, do you know they get paid?
Nothing.
They're like
maybe it's what work like $18
to $23, and y'all working this hard to pick people up.
Yeah,
you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Like, that's not a proud badge to wear.
Yeah, you're getting paid peanuts to actively traumatize people. You should fucking be ashamed of yourself. And we actually had a conversation about this, about mi gente who work as ICE agents. That's a fucking choice, my guy. That's a choice.
You're choosing that.
You're choosing that. And if you think they're not going to pick you up the minute that you're not all covered up in all your fake ICE shit, that's crazy.
I really think ICE is probably like the most like non-respected police force. Like, people don't like the police, but people hate ICE agents.
I mean, come on.
Like, if our uncle was an ICE agent, would you look at him and be like,
that's
bro, seriously?
Like, if you were getting paid $100 an hour, I'd be like, but $18 to $23 an hour, and y'all actively working this hard, that's crazy. You would not find me working this hard for $23.
Funniest thing is, it almost seems like they have to supply their own stuff. You see these pictures of ICE agents with like New Balance sneakers on? Like, they just came home from home.
You know what's really scary?
What?
Is that you can buy this shit anywhere.
And walk around.
In Philly, while no King's protests were going on, a fucking psycho had fake ICE gear on, kidnapped some lady, tied her up, and robbed her.
I believe that.
Why is there no regulation to this?
Yeah, especially since they're walking around like you can't ask them for ID, covering their badges, covering their faces, like fucking terrorists, basically.
Because they're concerned for their safety?
They're concerned for their safety, but they're supposed to be a spot of authority.
Ugh, God.
Like, no, that's not working at all. I I think it's funny though that, you know, we're in now a position of this situation where you really do got to now speak up.
Yeah.
You have to pick a side now. I'm reminded a lot of that episode on Abbott Elementary.
Yes.
With Chris Peretti, the character who plays one of the teachers, how he said something out loud, trying to like be part of the crowd, and then realized and said one of our favorite quotes ever.
I got to use it in real life.
Allies should be seen and not heard. And when he said that, like the both of us looked at each other
We're like, yeah,
that makes total sense. Yes, if you're an ally, you have to be seen there. You have to be seen being an ally, but nobody needs to hear from it. But right now, I think this is a very, very needed opportunity for allies to be heard.
Yep.
You know, when I see these videos of white people who, if you were to look at them just by judging a book by a color, you would probably think this guy's a Trump supporter.
Right.
But these videos that you're seeing of these white allies, like getting in the face of ICE.
Yeah.
Because to be completely honest,
they can get away with it.
Only the white people are going to get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not fucking wrong. They're going to get 3 chances before they get knocked down.
Yeah. Only them. So if there's white allies out there who are willing, and this is what I was saying before, they as in the other side, put the crazies in the front.
Yep.
We have crazies in the front.
Let them
who are willing to go to jail for this shit.
Yeah, I think there's a thin line though.
There's a thin line, but it's like
because you like,
do we need some crazies in the front? Because I think we're getting to that point.
You know,
I'm not condoning violence and death.
I'm not either.
But if we can get some crazy white people in the front who will get in the grill of ICE,
yes,
because that's their cousin.
Billy, this is it.
Billy, what's your problem?
You were just over my house for Sunday dinner.
We just had this man laying concrete.
Yeah, no, see, well, but that's the privilege.
We need to allow our allies.
Yes. You know, it's funny you say that because, you know, little Miss Twitter over here. Some people found some of these signs a little distasteful. Like, they felt like people weren't taking the protest seriously because the signs were a little too funny, a little too colorful, considering what it is that people are marching for.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, no, but you want the signs to be funny because then it gets not funny, but you want it to be clever because those are the pictures that circulate. That's what gets more attention. Here's where some white people fucked up. Some dude proposed to his girlfriend.
At the protest?
At the protest. So, like, I'm proposing, right? And you're like, oh my God. And behind them is, like, all these ICE agents. And I was like, oh, that's where you lost. You're not supposed to be here.
You're not an ally.
You're not an ally.
Just here for something.
You were probably cloud chasing.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They probably thought it'd be a cute picture. And that's dumb. That's not what that's for. Having a clever sign that says, you know, I'm thirsty, but don't worry. I don't know. Like I'll post some of my favorite ones on our Instagram. But like that,
all the ICE puns were great.
Yeah, that to me brings me more like, oh, look at everybody unite than somebody taking an opportunity to make it about themselves. Because that's what it is. You proposed and you made it about yourself, which is a great segue into people only care about politics because it's affecting them.
So yeah, that is definitely. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has a story like this.
Yeah,
but I've got friends who do not.
I got friends.
I got friends who don't talk politics. We all got friends who are into sports and into their own world. You know, we say I don't vote. I don't do politics. Whatever that means to you. But now these friends, including mine, who never wanted to speak politics, are now realizing it's involving all of us now. Right now, ICE is going to be at all the World Cup games.
Yes. Okay. I don't know why I look.
They're actively.
I don't know why like
flooding
at you. Yes. Yes.
They're warning people who are coming into the country for a world event, basically not to come into the country.
Yeah.
You know, it's nuts. It's crazy that we're in a situation that everyone's getting affected, but it's funny to see it. Not funny, but it's crazy to see it in real life happen to folks that you know.
Yeah.
Because so this guy that I know who's super, super into sports, he didn't mention anything politics until they started talking about ICE being at the games. And so we're talking about it, and we're realizing the more normalized it gets, you're going to see them at all events. You're going to see ICE at every game, at every concert, at graduations, waiting for them to walk off and then
which they're you don't really.
Yeah, exactly. And so this guy didn't start caring until it affected his world. It's going to affect the world of sports. Yeah, it's going to affect everyone's world. You know what I told him crazy is that, like, let's say they do deport, people in sports shouldn't care about this.
Yeah.
Because one, sports is all around the world.
Yeah.
And we bring people from all around here.
Half of our baseball team is Dominican.
Bro, exactly.
Yankees are Dominican.
And if you haven't realized that, it's stepping into everybody's world, and you got to wake up right now.
Well, but that's the problem, is that it's not a factor until it hits these points, and by then it's too late. Like, had he thought about that, this notion of, oh, I don't really talk or do politics, that's bullshit. Everybody does. And how passionate you are can be different. But everybody has to talk about this, because if you didn't vote because you're like, oh, it's not going to affect me, and not all the things that you love to do, it does affect you. And that's a problem. You're right. With sports, most of our teams are stacked with immigrants. I don't even know why we trip it. Most of the baseball teams are Dominican.
Yeah.
That's it. A lot of the basketball players, if they're not homegrown from the USA, they're from other countries. Not to mention that we send Americans overseas to play.
Yeah.
So the thought that we are having one of the biggest games, World Cup, is like huge. I mean, offices shut down to watch this. That we are going to have ICE agents. Do you think that these stadiums are going to make money? Because it's not a good idea. If I own a team, I don't want my fans or the fans of the team to come and feel scared that they're going to get deported. That's bad for my revenue. That's bad for business. And furthermore, it's going, like, people aren't, if you don't know how to treat your fans, people aren't going to be fans anymore, which automatically you lose revenue on.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of crazy that he didn't care until it affected him. And it's just like, had you had a little foresight? Because again, this isn't, I'm talking to Twitter, I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to you. This isn't Trump's first go around.
Yeah.
That's the other fucked up. This isn't a brand new evil person. It's the same fucking guy that we had 8 years ago. And he already gave you the play-by-play. He gave you the outline of what he wanted.
Yeah, like, you should have cared about this in November.
Yeah, so, and I feel like that's what happens with the protests. Like, although it is good for the soul to see everybody standing up to it, it's also like, oh, but y'all not really here.
You're thinking, like, millions of people at this protest. June 24th is next week.
Y'all vote.
Are y'all going to be there?
Y'all voting? Because I don't really care for Adams to continue to be in office, and I definitely don't fucking want Cuomo in office. Like, there was a reason he was ousted and resigned. So why would you bring him the fuck back in?
So, like, yeah, and you got to agree. That's the question. Are you guys also taking off the 24th?
Yeah. Well, technically, some jobs have to get. Okay, but that's different. But what I'm seeing is just like it.
The polls.
The polls are what you got. It's not just for strippers, okay, guys. It's for all of us. That is important. Not
super important.
It's. I'm getting upset. This is why I told Manny I don't want to talk about politics, because although I can speak on facts and like I get so flustered with my words because all I want to do is drop F-bombs and just insult people and how stupid they fucking are. But like, who wants to listen to that for 15 or 30 minutes?
What do you think of the idea of the Team America boycotting the World Cup?
Okay, can I say something? Is this a safe space? Is this a safe space? It is?
Yeah.
America, you don't even make it far into the cup. So if you don't go, that's okay.
I think they're in the tournament, but I just
but personally, they don't really make it that far.
They don't make it that far. Yeah, but as a show, just because, you know, they don't really, obviously they're not going to make it. But as a show of support,
yes, they should.
that would be such a huge thing if they did.
All jokes aside, they should boycott, but also if you
got playing. And to be honest, I want to see some protests at these games.
Do you think that the teams would protest going, or is the World Cup just too important for them to do that? Like, they have to play?
I think teams would go, and I think you're going to see a lot of teams with like little microaggressions.
Ooh, like stuff on their
like socks that have like,
I'm an immigrant, or
like things on them or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like logo. You know how like soccer teams have all their logo? I would not be surprised if they get sponsored, like sponsors from liberal things.
Yup.
Yeah, like little microaggressions.
That are just enough to, a lot of little microaggressions.
Just enough to send Fox News on it.
Well, I'll tell you this, Mexico and Canada won't have a problem filling up their stadiums, getting people to see the games. I think it's just going to be us.
I think Toronto should get sold out the brim.
Well, here's the other thing, too. A lot of red-blooded Americans I don't feel care about soccer. Is that
I think
assessment?
What it is, it's the nationalistic thing. Team America versus everyone else. That whole thing with the Olympics, I think that's what it is. And to be honest, when it comes to like sports, like big sporting events, right, and tournaments and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't care about like national ones until it's the finals, because I'm not following every single one.
Yeah.
But when it's these nationalistic ones with country versus country, I prefer watching that 10 times more. I guess because I think everything should just be settled on the court and not on the battlefield by now.
In the words of Lada, get in the booth, bitch.
Yeah, so it's cool to watch these national teams go against each other. It's not that cool to watch state versus state on the first part of the tournament. It's like, what's the difference between Idaho and Texas if the kid's actually from New York?
Right. I mean, it's going to be really crazy. I mean, the World Cup's not until next year, right? So
we got... I'm a little confused, by the way. If somebody can teach me a little bit. World Cup 2025, and there's also FIFA World Cup 2026. I'm a little confused myself.
Yeah.
This is a World Cup tournament in America only, and then next year is the World Cup tournament that's Mexico, America, and Canada.
All right, you guys let us know when we need to really deep dive into this. But also, we want to know when you started caring about politics. Your honest answer. That's all. That's all we want to know from you this week.
And I want to know what was the funniest signs you saw.
Oh, yes. And I'm like, this is all we want to know. And they're like, one more question. And I'm like, yeah, definitely send us your favorite protest signs. We're going to be posting some of ours on our Instagram. And you can also find some of our wonderful opinions and pointed points on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Blowback Stories.
You can find me at Got No Time For This on Instagram.
You can find me at Nicky Trendz on Instagram. If you guys want some official merchandise, you can head over to our website at bubblebathstories.co. Or if you look at an event, you want to talk about today's episode or previous episode, you want to tell us a secret, a celebration, anything at all, you can hit us up on our hotline at 347-878-1144. Until the next time, Duckies, bye.